Welcome everyone to the Ted and Teach Show. I'm Ted.
I'm Teach.
And we're a local MMA podcast for North Dakota fighters, talking to you about DFC Winter Brawl at the Shields Arena, December 5th.
Yep, Saturday, December 5th. It's about a little less than 2 weeks.
Yep, we're right around the corner. Going to be having Thanksgiving here soon.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst time to have a fight, a week after Thanksgiving. I mean, you got these guys cutting weight. That's their final week of cut, and
can't have none of that.
Can't sit with the family and eat all the turkey and gravy and stuffing and
torture. Makes you want to pound the dude when you see him in the ring.
Yeah, there'll be some hungry fighters waiting for their
Still
leftovers next week, the week following.
We got a long list of fighters for you this episode, so bear with us. There's going to be a ton of great fights here. Some people having their pro debuts. Some people trying to fight after a long layoff. We got a couple of those fighters on there too.
Yeah, some trying to squash some bad beef,
some bad blood
between each other.
Yeah. So we got starting off.
We got highlights that we're going to put out here for you. We're going to start out with Jason Everett and Kevin Jaden. Everett, I believe, is a pro debut. We don't have anything on him.
Yeah.
And
we don't even know what camp he's fighting.
Kevin Jaden is 4-27. So, yeah, that's quite the record, 4-27.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. I don't know whether to commend him on just maybe wanting to get in there and
yeah, right here's Kevin. He's in the Venom shorts here, the white shorts. I believe they're white. Are they white?
Yeah, they're white. They're white.
As you see, he has a nice long jab. If he could just use that long jab when he's fighting, I mean, utilize it with maybe a cross or a hook to back it up. But he basically just uses the long jab, and as you see, he just, reaches out. And right now he's on a 19-fight loss streak or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Teach, looking at his record, and I didn't know whether to commend him or worry about him. I mean, there's a lot of fights, and they've all been a first round stoppage.
I think one or two made it to the second round, right?
Yeah, he has like 2 fights who went to the second round. 20 submissions, seven knockouts, which means he's not taking too many to the head. But at one point you got to, wonder, okay, are we doing it because, want to get the experience? Are we doing it,
is there a drive to win there somewhere? When is that going to kick in?
Yeah, and I didn't know whether to knock him or be like, damn, dude, call it quits, because we do have other fighters out there that we have, seen that are like, maybe they got a little bit more higher.
Yeah, they're a little higher caliber.
Yeah, and stuff. But they do have losing records, and they are still doing it. So yeah. I don't know what to say other than be safe, man.
Yep, and I believe we have a little bit more of Jaden here. Head movement, all that good stuff is kind of important.
Yeah.
I think this is an older fight. I mean, we found what we could on YouTube, really. I mean, some other the videos I found, the quality wasn't all that good, so we didn't want to use it.
He's got a long. Looks like he's got a good long reach, and he just, hasn't used it.
And he kind of leaves himself open. It's like he's waiting and waiting for the. For his opponent to do something, and then he's going to react to it, which he should be more, what you say, reacting to their movement so that the timing is a little closer to each other instead of, taking an elbow, like just showing, take an elbow to the face and then block it, he should have been looking for it and covering it right away.
Yeah. I did see that one fight that we did watch where he had a win. He did the rear naked choke. He did great, and wish you could have more like that, but at one point you got to just, be careful. Don't know what else you can say about that one. I don't want to take more time off of, we have other great fighters out there too that,
Yeah, just like this next one, we got Casey Gajewski versus Jeremy Sudell
Yep.
at 170 pounds. Casey's from Buxton, North Dakota. I had it wrong. I put down Grand Forks, North Dakota on the website. It is Buxton, North Dakota. He's 5-1, and he's fighting a rival of his, something that they have some beef against each other.
Yeah.
In Jeremy Sudell, which he's from Grand Forks, and he's 0-3.
0-3. I do like the way he fights. He does fight okay. I mean, 0-3 record doesn't do him too much justice, but
Oh no, he's got good hands. We'll see it in the highlights. I'm surprised he's at 0-3 right now.
I know. I was thinking like, golly, you know, I watched him all the way up to the last round, and just, you know, I don't know if you know, if he just got more passive, or, you know,
he starts out really strong, and it's from what it looks like, even for both these fighters, it looks like neither one of them are working their ground cardio very well. So when it hits the ground, they get really tired.
I think everybody loves to stand up. It just seems like we talked last time, Teach. Everybody, it changes so much. You got fighters that used to be on the ground, and then everybody would be like, "Oh, it's boring. It's boring." You know, stand up, stand up. Now that we got, you know, fighters that stand up, and, you know,
yeah, it's evolved to it should be complete mixed martial arts anymore.
Yeah.
And you got to be trained and cardioed up on everything, you know. Just like I was texting Tyler Vogel, you know, guy broke his hand right away in this fight, his belt fight, and he had to start kicking, you know. And I messaged him. I'm like, yeah, you know, kicking cardio is way different than any other cardio. It has a cardio of its own.
Yeah.
And he, you know, and he replied, you know, you got that right. And, you know, he found out that alone is a whole separate cardio from everything else.
Yeah, it's so crazy. You could be running, and that's what I think, you know, you would tell us to do sometimes too. You know, run. But then when you're resting on the ground, it's totally different.
Yeah.
It's harder.
So we're going to go into, it'll be Casey. We'll go over his highlights first. And, yeah, he is 5-1 from Buxton, North Dakota. He does like to kick. And when he feels that you're hurt, he's on you really fast.
Yeah, I talked about him that one time, Teach. I love the way he goes. He's a good finisher. He smells it. He knows already, okay, I got him. I'm gonna just get him right now and end it. And that's great. I mean, we've seen guys that, you know, they look like they're carrying the other guy, and they don't know how to put him away yet, or they're just trying to hang on themselves. But, yeah, I love the way he fights. He's a real good fighter, good striker, and he's very aggressive.
One thing about being a stand-up fighter like he is when you think you might have somebody hurt and you jump in there and find out they're not, sometimes you get burnt out.
Yeah, but he does a really good job of recognizing when they are. I mean, if you look at some of the fights, the highlights he has, as soon as he sees, he knows it, and he gets right on them. Doesn't give them any room.
And we'll go to the next highlight here. This is another fight that he does really well with using his length of his legs and his arms.
Yeah, you always told us the intent. You know, some guys kick, and it looks like, what the hell are you doing? You know, you're doing, you know, like, you're kicking a, you know, football, soccer ball, but he's actually trying to kick through that leg. He wants to take out that leg, so that's good intent. He wants to hurt that, take you off of that lead leg of yours.
Yep. And here you can see that his stand-up's doing really well. He's laying those kicks in there. And then on the next video coming up, we're going to you'll find out that ground cardio is different than stand-up cardio.
Oh, yeah, he does get in a couple of minutes of ground with him. Yep.
It totally hurt him in this fight. So hopefully he's corrected it since this fight. But you'll see it as he didn't really recognize right on this one. He thought he had the guy hurt. Then he almost did an illegal kick. But
like I said, he just gets that, you know, he just tastes it, or he wants to get it over with, you know.
Yeah, but here you can see his struggle here coming up. He's going to get himself caught in an arm bar that he's going to struggle to get out of. As you can see, his opponent's working his way up his shoulders right now. and pulled out, and now he's stuck in this arm bar. And this is where what happens to a lot of stand-up fighters is they start muscling their way out.
We did give you credit for stepping on the dude's
Yeah,
face,
yeah,
man.
that's good,
we talked
man.
about that when we were watching the highlights. I was like, that was badass. That kind of maybe made the guy kind of get out of that move because he probably was like, shit.
Got tired of tasting your big toe. But as you can see, it took a lot of his energy out of him trying to get out of that.
It starts to kind of
And
slow
he
down
totally looks like a different fighter at this point.
Yeah.
And really, I'm like I said, I hope he's really worked on it since that fight. Because you do, if the guy gets a takedown, now you're in ground cardio again. So.
And I think it's how much he put into that first round, he's looking like he's just going at it, and sometimes some fighters are patient and some are overly aggressive.
Yeah. And from what it looks like, most of his fights have been short fights. So.
Yeah.
So now we have his nemesis.
His kryptonite.
Then Jeremy Sudell. Jeremy Sudell, from what I've seen, the guy has pretty good hands. I did like his hands when I watched some of his videos.
Yeah, he had some really good. I saw the hit he put on the guy and body shots. I mean, he was doing everything. I thought it was really good. But as the fight wore on, it looked like, his aggression went down. He was, hoping to catch him with, maybe one too good punch. And but the guy wasn't going down, man. I mean, the guy was just trying to hang in there just as hard as he could. He looked very sloppy. Not Jeremy, but his opponent. It did look sloppy at times, but we've seen other fights. We get to that Maria fight with Amanda. Amanda would just look sloppy as hell too, but I don't know. Maybe it's just unorthodox at the time.
Oh, and one of the things I noticed on here is he plants his feet when the guy gets there, so he gets caught up on getting tied into a clinch or a takedown. And you see it throughout a couple of his fights that we watch. He does. He'll suddenly plant his feet, so then he ends up in a clinch or ends up getting taken down.
And he did really good.
If he wants his hands to get loose, he's got to get his feet to move too.
Jeremy did really good of kicking, and punching, and he mixed it up really well. I mean, and he did look like he knew what he was doing on the ground. I don't understand. Hasn't probably caught a break yet, or keep pushing through because I think that's really good.
Yeah, he's definitely on the verge of getting that win, and there's been fighters out there that's made the UFC where they lost their first few fights, and then so they corrected something, and then they skyrocketed. Man,
Teach, we didn't even not to go back, but we didn't even say who we were gonna pick on the fight before. Whether we had Kevin or we had Jason, and I'll say it right now, I'm going with Jason. Pro debut. Sorry about that. We got so ahead of ourselves. But, I think, and then this fight, we've already kind of, it's a toss-up.
I'm going to go with Kevin on this one. He lost his last fight. But I thought he won the DFC fight.
Yeah.
Didn't he win that DFC fight? So that's not even on SureDog then. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Kevin. I think he might have corrected something, and he might actually pull that one out.
I think Jeremy's due. I really do. I mean, I think he's gonna bring it. I'm gonna go with Jeremy. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Jeremy's got to be seeing the same thing we do. Somebody's got to be telling him, look, man, you're really good. Something's got to push you, and maybe this fight with Casey will push him because Casey's not gonna be no pushover. He's gonna beat the shit out of you. And if he sees that you're hurt, he's coming for you. So I'm hoping Jeremy's got that hard, stubborn attitude to keep with it.
If he keeps his boxing up, he'll do well. I mean, that thing didn't pause, but technical difficulties again. But I'm going to go with Casey on that fight.
Yeah.
The guy is going to be the bigger fighter.
And
he's lanky. Yeah. He's got a nice reach. He kicks really well, actually. So I'm gonna have to go with him.
Yeah. hopefully it just goes all rounds and stuff.
And then what's probably going to happen is it's going to go to the ground, and then it's going to be whoever worked their ground cardio in the end. So
yeah, I don't think you want to stand up with Casey.
No,
I don't think you want to do that. Be a bad decision. And even though Jeremy looks good on his feet too, it's just working to Casey's advantage.
Yeah. We got our next two fights is Ben Simmons, which will be his pro debut. Yep. And he'll be fighting a 3-0, an undefeated fighter in Sam Garrett.
Yeah.
We talked with Joe Eichelberger right before his title defense there. He spoke highly of Ben Simmons, man.
Yeah, I remember that too, and he said he's a big dude.
Big guy. He never gives up, stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, Joe spoke very highly of him, so we're gonna find out what he's got.
Yeah, and he's going against also a great opponent. Sam's pretty good.
Yep, Sam Garrett.
Early, but in this area, 3-0 is really good.
Yep.
For our caliber of fighters.
I mean, it's 3-0 going against a pro debut. That's a tough one for a pro debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of pro debuts, they come in,
or
they're amped up and ready.
Or the camp just has that much confidence in them that they could, upset Sam.
So right now we got highlights from Sam Garrett. Here he's actually fighting a very experienced fighter in Marshall Martin. And he actually does very well. He's a predominant wrestler, man. He's got a drive that just doesn't quit. Yeah,
and against Marshall too. That's Marshall's really good, and we've talked about it before. There's another fighter that's he could be a lot further along too.
Yep. And as you can see, it's nonstop. Sam Garrett gets in there and he just keeps his motor going.
Yep, keeps pushing.
Totally. It's pretty exciting to watch. I mean, with Marshall Martin, I mean, the guy he's got really good jiu-jitsu. I mean, for this guy to survive all this through this fight, he's got a motor and he's got a drive. He's got heart.
Yeah, he kept pushing Marshall back, and he just kept going at him too. And it looked like at times Marshall had the upper hand, and then he just kind of weathered the storm and he worked through it. So.
Yeah. And then here it's, he pretty much fights the same way over and over throughout all his fights.
Looks like he just wants to get a hold of you.
He wants to get you to the ground and pound you, wear you out with his wrestling. And that's one good thing wrestlers do is they wear you out when you're on the ground.
Yeah.
He's a little unorthodox too in some of his fights.
Try to keep control of you and try to keep you in that, yeah.
And obviously he's tough. He took some big shots in this fight.
And we can't even critique him and say he's doing everything right, because Marshall's doing everything right, and it's just back and forth. They're they're rolling around, they're hitting each other, they're moving.
I would say Sam needs to learn to get to top control and learn to strike more. I mean, if you watch it, you can see that he doesn't strike a whole lot. What are you doing?
Oh, I was thought we were going to talk more about. I remember this when we were talking about Marshall that one time, and how this one. I can't remember. Did Marshall win this one?
No, Marshall actually ended up losing this. You'll see that at the end. I put this part of the highlight in just to show that obviously Sam Garrett does work his jiu-jitsu also, or submission wrestling. I'd probably would say he does more submission wrestling than jiu-jitsu, but in the end he'll get the choke out.
Yeah, he got his hooks in there.
Yeah, got his hook. I mean, he submitted a guy that's a veteran. That groundwork. I mean, the guy you rolled with him. Marshall's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
So I didn't get the chance to. So.
So with this one, since we don't have a lot on Ben, but we do have a good referral from Joe's.
Yeah.
you know, and then Sam. Like,
And he does come from a tough camp. Man, Ben does come from a tough camp. They do work hard, and they've been quite successful. The only thing that gets me is it's his pro debut. That's the part that gets me.
Tough. That's gonna be tough.
But they are pretty confident in him to take a guy that's undefeated at this point.
Who are you taking then?
You know, I'm gonna give Ben a chance. I'm gonna take Ben Simmons.
And I'm gonna go with Sam. I think, like you said, Sam's already got experience under his belt. I think he's gonna, you know, he's probably gonna be the aggressor, and we'll have to see what Ben can pull out.
Yep.
He can, you know, maybe make him rethink his strategy, and because Sam's probably not gonna want to lose that first one just yet. Probably wants to keep it going.
I guess it all depends too if Ben Simmons is actually working his wrestling.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Sam survived on the ground against an experienced jiu-jitsu guy. So,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be a good fight. I'm gonna like to see what happens in this one.
Yeah, me too. And we'll have to be out there watching it. We'll have to go.
Yep. Next one, we got Nicholas Ostermiller. He's 2-0, and he's fighting a guy in Eric Kemper. What was his nickname?
Eric the Temper.
Kemper. Okay, yep. At 125 pounds. And we got a little highlight for Nicholas.
Yeah, we were actually at this fight. We saw Nick. He did really good. I mean, this was his first fight.
Yep,
And he
first
did really
fight.
good.
Looked like it wasn't his first fight.
Yeah.
He was very comfortable. Got in there, had good head movement, kept the guy confused.
Yeah, went to the ground when he had to. Got up when he
Yep.
had to. He gets out of a couple of.
He shows that he's a pretty darn good wrestler.
Yep.
And has a motor on him. It didn't even look like he was getting tired throughout this whole fight.
Yeah, at the end of the fight, yeah, he looked a little bit, but not completely exhausted. He still talked with us after to say, hey, you know, thanks for coming out.
Yep. Yeah, he just doesn't, throughout the whole fight, doesn't even look like he fatigued at all.
Yeah.
And he trains with Marshall Martin. They're good friends. And throughout this whole fight, he keeps that head movement so that the target was never right down the center.
Looks like a little miniature Matt Hughes.
Yeah, there you go.
So he's probably he's seen that too. He's modeling his style after him, because that's what, if you think about it, Matt was always doing that too. The wrestling was there, so he used it, get you to the ground and
ground and pound you or submit you. I mean, you know, if your strength's wrestling,
yeah,
all you need to do is make your hands and feet good enough to get to the wrestling. You know, you don't want to make yourself I'm a great wrestler, so I'm gonna be a boxer now. You know, that's probably not the greatest of ideas.
I think we're still kind of pissed over that Ronda Rousey fight.
Not really mad.
Why
I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand. That's all.
Sorry to get off the subject, but yeah, Nick's doing really good here. There's a couple of times in the fight he looked like he.
And then here on this one, these highlights here, we're gonna go through. He just did takedown after takedown after takedown throughout this fight. Just kept driving this guy to the ground.
Yeah, there's a lot of good takedowns. I mean, holy crap.
He just, that's his thing. He gets a hold of you. He wants to get you on the ground. He did an excellent job. So now we got Eric Kemper, 0-1. Doesn't look like we got video on him.
No, I saw one video, but we're not even sure if that was him. Like you said, we've heard conflicting areas where they're out of. I think Sure Dog was telling us one thing, and then on the YouTube videos we'd hear another. So we don't want to.
Then the announcer at the fight would say a whole nother state, so we weren't completely positive that we had the right guy. Yeah. So we just chose not to use him.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric. Sorry we don't have enough on you.
And now we got Bruce Nelson versus Ryan DeBellic. Yeah, that's a tough last name.
I'm horrible with last names, so you got that one.
You got Bruce Nelson from Ada, Minnesota. He's 27 and 36. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Bruce Nelson is at this point.
Yeah, if you don't, you're not from around here. So. Yeah, Bruce has been around.
These guys are cutting down to 205 for this fight, though. So they're not fighting heavyweight this time. They're doing 205. Then DeBellic is 2-0. So Sherdog has him from Indiana, and then the video that we saw us fighting, they said he was from South Dakota. So we're not sure if that was the same person or not.
Yeah, I couldn't be sure either. But if it is the same guy, I think it's gonna play right into Bruce's hands because of the style he has. Bruce. I mean, what can you say about Bruce? Even though he's been around and he's getting up there, he's still got a lot of tricks. He's got a lot of things that can surprise you, and
he's still tough. I mean, he's not going to give up until somebody makes him.
Yeah, and I bet you he's not going to give you that either. He'd probably be one of those, like you always say, teach, let him choke you out. He didn't tap. So what if you pass out for a couple of minutes? It's better to just be, I didn't tap. That's the kind of mentality I think Bruce has sometimes. He's just, stubborn. He ain't going to give up.
Right.
But the Ryan Debacle guy, golly, if it is that guy.
Delabat.
Did I say debacle? If it is that guy, I mean, he just looks like he's, powerhouse kind of bigger guy.
Yep.
I heard he kicked really well. From what I heard and saw in the video, he looked like he was kicking really well. But he just didn't look like he moved a lot, like that high pace. It looks like he was very methodical. And
205. But I think at that fight he was fighting heavyweight at that fight also.
Yeah.
And most heavyweights don't move all that great anyhow.
Yeah. It looked like he was wrestler too. So I mean, Bruce might be on the ground.
Yep.
A lot.
But then that would really play into his hands.
Yeah.
But our highlights right now will be with Bruce. And Bruce really, his stand-up's mainly just to get the guy to the ground and ground and pound him.
Yeah.
That's Bruce's style. Or in the clinch. He loves the clinch also. He loves the dirty boxing. And he's actually very good at it.
Yeah. And he makes this look easy right here too. Just, I didn't know if he was going to take the full mount or if he enjoyed being side mounts, but he's still pounding away on him. Right here.
looking at the ref. Are you going to call this or not? Yeah, once Bruce gets on top of you, it's the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Just hitting him like a piñata. There's got to be... I thought there was like when you're not even hitting back already. The guy doesn't even look like he's trying. He's just putting his hands up to defend.
Yeah, pretty soon Bruce will start doing the double fist punch.
He's still looking at the ref too. He looked at him for a little bit.
There it is, double fist punch.
Wow.
I guess that's what it takes for the ref to call it.
The ref
man.
said, "Wow, you're using two fists. I gotta call it."
And on here too, it's Bruce. Bruce likes that clinch more than he likes the stand up game.
And if you're a fan of Bruce, or I've seen Bruce fight, I mean, even when it looks like, oh man, he's not even doing that great. There was that one fight, I even wrote it down, I think it was against that Tim Sasari. Big dude, remember Teach, we were there? Big guy. I was already telling Teach, oh man, Bruce ain't walking out of this one. And Darren told me, oh, just watch. Man, I mean, locked in that arm, and the guy was huge. I mean, you see him walk into the ring, he was still like looked like he was even taller than the cage.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, he was a big guy. And he bloodied Bruce up with elbows, and And then Bruce pulled out the armbar.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, damn.
So Bruce, he doesn't ever quit. So this guy, Ryan here, he's, hopefully he doesn't come in thinking Bruce is this old man. It's not, it's going to be a pushover.
Yeah.
Because Bruce isn't. I mean, he's an old man, but he's not a pushover.
Yeah, he's probably, I mean, if he is looking at Bruce's tapes, you got to watch them all the way through. You just don't, write it off.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to write Bruce off at all, because even though he's all bloody and he's a mess, he'll still try to find something to finish the fight off with.
Kind of reminds me of that movie Clint Eastwood where they do like bare knuckle fights, and he just loves getting hit.
Any which way but loose.
Yeah, he just loves getting hit. It's like
that tells you how old I am.
Yeah, just loves getting hit. I mean, like he enjoys it. He loves the pain. Got kids at the house. They're like, "Who? What?" Right here, boom.
Yep. And once Bruce thinks he's got you, man, he just goes.
Damn, how many times did he do the rep?
They obviously don't think like the old man can't win, so we got to wait a while.
Still, looking at the other guy's head bouncing off the cage. Jeez.
Looks like he was half tapping.
Yeah.
And then we got Ryan the Bellick, and he's 2-0. Like we said, we just don't have. We weren't sure if we had the right guy for the videos.
Yeah, we didn't want to put somebody up there and then be looking like idiots. But we did look you up on YouTube, so we did see some highlights of somebody.
Yeah, somebody. Our next one here is Danny White versus Christopher Hugh. Danny White from Brookings, South Dakota is 10-7, and Christopher Hugh is from Bismarck, 16-10, at 170 pounds. Our first video is going to be Danny White. Actually, a lot of people from Fargo has probably seen Danny White fight before. The guy, he does definitely gruels out fights. He's not big on finishing, but he's big at going all rounds.
Yeah, yeah, and he's got some good hands. He does like to hit you and wrestle, and he's a good brawler.
That's his style, is brawling. And he stands there, hands down, and you'll see it in the clips here that he starts out with his hands down. He's not your typical boxer or kickboxer or anything like that.
We have seen other fights of his when I think a little bit younger, and he was pretty good in those. Here we're looking like he's getting into the heavier set.
Yep. Hey, he does a good dirty boxing style. He likes to get that clinch and wear the guy out.
And I believe his opponent in this one is Kevin Morris, and Morris shows you exactly what you should do with Danny, and that's kick him. It looks like he didn't really like to be kicked, and at times he kind of looks like he's backpedaling through the fight. He does lose that fight, but he did gruel it out. He did go all 3 rounds, and Kevin pulled out the win, but Kevin almost looked like he could have finished it in the first round, but Danny just kept pushing through, kept hitting him, mixing it up. Even though at one time Kevin looks kind of comfortable, and he's trying to do the windmill kick, the back kick, he's trying to kick his leg. He's getting comfortable, and I think Danny kind of saw that and was like, oh, man, I better get in here. I better start, pushing forward, because if I let this guy start kicking me from the outside.
Oh, I mean, he basically went into his style.
Yeah.
I mean, his style is a clinch game style.
Yeah. Kevin did end up fighting his style, and he did kind of pull out the wind. I mean, I didn't think it could have gone either way. From the fight, it could have gone either way, because Danny didn't look hurt, at all. And he just, judges are funny sometimes.
Yeah, you don't ever want to leave it to the judges.
No.
That's for sure. As you can see, Danny has his hands down, but he moves his head quite a bit, so his target's just not right there.
I do laugh when Kevin tries to jump off the ring. Do you see that one? He tries to do like a Anthony Pettis. He's about to jump on the ring, and then he kind of backs away from it. But Yeah, Danny wasn't having it. Danny charges at him and just says, "Oh, you wanna do that kind of showboating?" But he did have some great kicks, but I don't know what happened. He just kind of stayed away from it.
Yeah, well, once you get caught in the clinch every time, you kind of resort to,
I
you
think
know
your
what's going to
ego-
happen, so you're going for it, you know.
I think your ego kind of sets in, like, "Oh, this guy's punching me. I'm gonna punch him back." You know, my hammer's heavier than yours.
Yeah, he definitely got sucked into Danny's game on this one, but this is what we're going to expect to see from Danny in this fight.
Win's a win.
And it's not a bad strategy going against his opponent that he's got coming in up in this fight. And
Oh,
Chris
yeah,
Hugh.
with Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a good strategy because Chris is strong and he's going to use a lot of muscle strength in the clinch.
Oh, it was right there, Teach. You missed it. He tried to jump off, so Danny gets pissed off and goes at him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to do that, huh?
But yeah, Danny's style is a brawl style. It works. It definitely has worked for him throughout his
Danny
years
did
now.
really good in the beginning, Teach. If you saw him, he pushes Kevin up on the fence and he cuts him off. You know, he uses his body to cut Kevin, and then he just starts fucking wailing on him with his other hand and stuff. I thought that was great, with that dirty boxing. I wish he would have kept doing that through the fight. I love it when you can take an opponent and just kind of shut him down, and guy's stuck. What am I gonna do? I gotta think. How do I get out of this? And Kevin does do it and stuff, and Danny just, he stopped doing it. Probably just got tired from holding Kevin up for a while.
But I didn't really need to because the other guy got sucked into his game. They got sucked into the clinch game. He seemed okay with it too. So.
But it looked really good. Danny had his leg in between him. He had him cut off. Kevin wasn't going anywhere, and he was just pounding him like a slab of meat.
And then our next one will be Chris Hugh from Bismarck. Chris, he comes in great shape every fight.
And he's got some power in his hands. He's got some good power in his hands. The fight that I thought you were gonna have that other fight he lost, but the Borjan Vavalchik.
It's on here.
Oh, it's on here too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that one you were gonna show that one. This one come on.
He's trying to outmuscle, using a lot of muscle there.
Yeah.
If he does that with Danny, he's going to be in real trouble. Yeah, you can't not against him.
Yeah. Well, I think Chris's forte was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They said he was like a purple belt now or something.
The purple or blue,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. So he feels comfortable on the ground, and of course he loves to knock you out too. So if you're gonna wrestle with Danny,
I think most of his fights he has one on the ground. I seen him fight. It was Madrid, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
He beat TJ on the ground. Even though TJ was winning that fight, he weathered the storm and won the fight.
Yeah.
Kind of like here is where he's weathering the storm.
Well, he's facing Travis in this one.
Yeah, and then pulls out a headed arm from the ground even.
Yeah.
Yep, right here he'll start to slip out the side. And boom.
Locks it in.
Yep, locks it in. Taps him out. And then here's the fight coming up that you were talking about.
Yeah, I watched this one all the way through because I thought he was gonna take out Bajo. I can't even say his name, and that's his first name. The guy in the white trunks.
Yep.
But this guy was really good too, and he took Chris and he beat him on his own game on the ground. And it looked like for a while, I didn't know why Chris didn't get back up. It looked like he wanted to go to the ground, and then Bajan, took him out.
Yeah, Rajan, he's a predominantly stand-up fighter, but from the camp that he's from, they're well-rounded. Mm-hmm. They teach it all.
Yeah, I actually thought Chris was going to win this one, and then it just looked like it changed all of a sudden. And he does look like he muscles.
Yeah, he muscles through a lot. A lot of muscle in his once he clinches up. And I think that'll be an advantage to Danny White. Danny, you can tell he doesn't use a lot of muscle. He kind of uses his body weight.
You know, we did it again too, Teach. We didn't even decide who we were going to pick on those last fights.
And Bruce Nelson and Ryan DeBellick.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce and I think even before that one, we didn't even say, did we say even between Nick and Eric? I think, I don't even think we said, I know I was going to go with Nick.
I'd probably go with Nick too.
Yeah,
that kid has a motor, man. He has a motor.
Like you said, Bruce. We're both going with Bruce. And now we can tell you who we think would.
I'm going to go with Danny on this fight because, just like you said, you saw Chris same way I saw him, using a lot of muscle, which is going to create a lot of fatigue. Unless he can catch a quick submission, I'm going to go with Danny.
I think I'm going to go with Chris just because I think his camp is going to tell him that, you could probably win this fight if you become more technical than, the aggressor. You're going to play into Danny's hands if you go and you're going to wrestle with him. I don't see why you would do that. You can stand on the outside and just kind of stick and move. Danny's going to eventually probably get frustrated and come to you. Chris is, like you said, he's in great shape. So, not to put anything against Danny, but, it is cardio, and Chris does look like he has the better cardio. But if Danny does get a hold of him, yeah, I would say it could really
I believe it's going to be a clinch fight. And, Chris Hugh, he's been around for a while. I've seen him fight a few times, and he hasn't really changed much. So I kind of know.
Still the same.
I kind of know how he's going to fight this fight. And Danny doesn't change much either, and it'll end up being a clinch to the ground fight. So
well, like we said, looking at their records and stuff, they're not that far off.
No, not far off at all.
And yeah, Danny, like I said, he does really good brawling, and maybe Chris will get it.
Yep. It's gonna be a close one. It'll be tough. It's gonna be a really good fight. Both guys aren't gonna want to quit. Yeah. I've seen Danny take a beating and still win a fight, and I've seen Chris do the same. So
yeah,
it'll be an exciting fight. It definitely everybody needs to come and watch it.
Both got heart.
Yeah. All right, next one is Brian Heaton and Mike Whitehead. Brian's from Detroit Lakes with a 27-15 record. Mike Whitehead's from Salt Lake City, Utah, with a 27-7 record. Veteran, been on the UFC.
A lot of fights and
been in the UFC. Been on Ultimate Fighter TV.
Been a long layoff.
So, he hasn't fought in 3 years, is it?
Yeah, it was a while.
He's been around for a long time.
Not saying that he's not gonna win, but it's a lot of ring rust.
Yeah. He's fought guys like, Silva?
Yep.
Which one is it?
Matt? Not Matt. Tim.
Tim Sylvia.
Yep.
Yeah, he fought Tim Sylvia. That one's on YouTube. I think he fought King Mo, but lost to him. Yeah,
he's got a long list of people on there that, and he's great. He's a veteran and stuff, but
and we have Brian Heaton. He fought Tim Johnson, but lost to him. Lost to the UFC vet and Travis Wyeth.
Yeah.
So this one can go either way. One has cage rust, and the other one has struggled with top-notch fighters. So
yeah, I do like Brian is the younger fighter though, and he's got a hell of a one punch.
Yeah, he definitely has a hell of a one punch fight. He hit Tim Johnson out in that fight and buckled his knees pretty good.
Yeah. And I did see a video where Brian did really good on the ground, too. I did catch one. I think it was against Johnson. He did really good on the ground. Yep. It looked like he knew where he was at and stuff. The one that we did see where he lost, and it just looked like the guy was a stronger fighter. Pushed him to the ground. It looked like when he lost that one, didn't even look like he was hurt, and just kind of covered up, and the ref stopped it.
Yeah, I think in that fight the ref did stop a little early because it didn't even look like he got hit. It looked like he got pushed down.
Yeah,
and then the ref stopped it right away.
He got pushed down. It didn't even look like he got hit.
So the first highlight video, is going to be for Brian Heaton.
Yep, this
and
is the guy
here's the one that you were talking about.
Johnson comes out strong on him,
and boom, he's got that big right hand. It put him on his butt. Unfortunately, that's not where it ends sometimes either. So.
Yeah, you can't knock everybody out with one punch. It's nice too, but like right there, Brian looks like he went through it. He looked calm. Didn't look like he lost his composure at all.
Brian's the guy in the
white trunks,
white and whatever color it is trunks. we did not really point out the fighters throughout this whole thing. Sorry, everybody.
Hopefully you're a big fan and you know who he was.
Hopefully what we're talking about appears. You guys see the same thing we are.
Yeah, this is the one where I told you. I've caught like so many people watching some of the videos where they've grabbed on the fence, and I only saw one fight where the refs, stopped the fight, made you get, different position. But I've seen a bunch of fights on here too.
And you can see Brian. I mean, he's not weak. Obviously, that there was his second takedown of this guy, and that guy's a big guy. Yeah. I mean, he has to be pushing 250 or more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like how, Brian keeps grabbing that arm, and this guy does nothing to defend it, and it's so funny to me. Like,
a quick transition for a big guy right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And here Brian's probably not somebody you want on top of you.
Dang. Maybe his wife disagrees, Teach.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, in this situation, you do not want this guy.
And it definitely shows that Brian has some groundwork and that he's worked on.
Two fights already there. We didn't even finish the other one, but yeah, I think he gets the Kimura on Johnson in that last fight video clip that we have. I'm almost positive Teach he gets him.
Was that how it ended?
Yep, because he gets him and then he twists the arm and the guy's not even moving. I was laughing. He wasn't even defending the arm. And right there, Brian's grabbing it, and he's trying every which way. And the guy's like just letting it hang out there. I was like, holy crap.
I didn't realize he actually knew something.
Yeah. I'm like, why is he touching my hand?
We got a couple clips on Mike Whitehead now. And Mike, I mean, the guy has experience with some really tough fighters. It all depends on what kind of shape he's going to come into this fight after his layoff. Yeah, the guy. I mean, the guy for a big guy, he's got some really good dexterity.
Yeah. He does what every big guy does.
And he's relentless once he gets there.
Yeah.
He just doesn't stop punching.
Be a good win for Brian.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Beat this vet. I mean, it'd be a real good win for you. I mean, this guy.
So I know when Timothy beat Wyeth, a veteran in the UFC, he got his shot right afterwards. So, I mean, Mike Whitehead's a veteran in the UFC. Yeah. From the UFC, and Heaton's getting a chance at him. If he wins this fight, who knows what can happen?
Yeah. Obviously, Mike's had a great long career too, and so, hey.
Yep. And yeah, it just once Mike gets you on the ground, I mean, the guy is relentless. He's gonna finish the fight if he can, just striking over and over and over.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too, Teach. Like the ones that we talk about that are really good fighters, they're on top of you. They're not just like, tapping you. They're really putting it into you and stuff. They're really trying to just put you out. That might be a good thing to watch, especially if you want to be the next great. You get that guy there in that position, you better just pound pound the living shit out of him.
Yep. And he's doing it right here.
I even thought I thought I saw him tap at one point on the side of Mike, but.
And then he does a big neck crank, taps him out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a tough fight right there. I mean, I think if Mike Whitehead gets Brian on his back, it's over, and vice versa.
Yeah, it'd be a battle of wills again. Some pushing, some shoving.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, he's pretty well rounded. He's got punches and kicks. Heaton's got that big right hand. Hopefully, he's been practicing his left hand to make up for his right hand when he can't do it.
Yeah, it's always good to have two knockers.
Yeah. So on this one here, I'm going to these guys are so equal in their abilities, you know. It's whoever ends up on their back is probably going to be the loser.
So, who are you taking?
I'm going to have to take, gosh, I wish I knew what kind of shape Mike Whitehead's going to come in.
If you're coming to a fight, you better come in shape, man. People be laughing. You know, it sucks when you go in there out of shape. I would not want to go in there.
I'm going to go with Mike Whitehead.
You going to go with Whitehead?
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
I'm going to go with Brian. I think the younger fighter, you know, not to take anything away from Whitehead, but, hey, it does suck when you reach a certain age and you don't want to let go.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that won't be the case for Mike, but I think Brian's pretty young. Maybe he's got something, you know.
Yep. I mean, he's been around for a long time, just like Mike Whitehead has. So that's gonna be a good fight. I mean, that's up in the air. That's 50-50 who's gonna win that fight.
Yeah,
it is.
Somebody's getting knocked out though, or choked.
Our next fight is the main event fight. Mariah Perugia versus Susie Watson. Mariah, she's from Fargo, 4-1, and Susie is from Abbotsford, British Columbia, at 3-3. It's a 130-pound fight. This is gonna be probably the most aggressive fight of the night.
Yeah.
You got two fighters that are so similar, and man, they're just gonna go at it. Both have cardio. Both don't mind getting hit.
They like to grill it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be dynamite, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great main event.
Yeah, I was talking to you the last time about, we talked about that fight that Maria had with Amanda Lavoie, and you know, golly, you know, that was such a good fight. I mean, you know, Maria got to show, you know, her power, and she grilled it out. And at first I thought Amanda was, you know, giving her some good licks. The first cut that Maria had above the eye in the first round, I thought, oh my God, you know, Amanda's taking it to her. And as I watched the fight again, I was like, oh man, you know, Maria had her more in control. And even though it did look like Amanda was trying to hit her, I don't think those punches were doing anything, kicks were doing anything. Maria just kind of grinded it out. And you don't know, Maria looks like she's got the power. She wants to, you know, show her.
Yeah, I think, like you said, she has the power. That's probably going to be her upper hand against Susie is her power. Yeah. Power in her hands. So.
Well, hopefully too the cardio, because I mean,
they both have some serious cardio, man.
Power. You've got to have the cardio too. And Susie Watson is same way.
Yeah, it didn't look like she had a whole lot of power in her hands.
Yeah, just more of that driving forward, like you said, Teach, and
yeah, she definitely wants to clinch, work the clinch game, wear her opponent out.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she likes to get hit. As soon as you start hitting her, it looks like she tries to grab you and get you down. And
she just sits there and takes punches. I mean, she doesn't try to move her head out of the way or anything. She just all she's really looking to do is to get that clinch, wear the muscles out, and finish the fight that way. Get the person to give up. Yeah, and that's gonna be a tough one with Mariah, because Mariah's got some phenomenal cardio also.
And she loves to, you know, Maria looks like she loves to box. Like she'll swing with you. So
Well, yeah, she trains with Dane Sayers.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, and
I would assume her punching power is going to be coming up even some more because it's been, what, a year since she fought?
Maybe that'll bait Susie, though, too, Teach. Because didn't you ever see Susie's stance? She looks like she's wanting to box, too. But she just goes to the wrestling.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know.
I think that's kind of just her style.
Her style.
Just to get herself in there.
Yeah.
The first highlights will be with Susie Watson. You'll see it. She really doesn't back up ever. It's always forward unless you run her backwards. And she's fighting here. She's having a tough time with somebody with equal cardio.
Yeah, I think this is the one she loses.
Yeah, she did lose this fight.
Yeah,
and it went all rounds too. Yeah. So
this girl is taking it to Susie. She's aggressive.
Yep. I mean, and Mariah's a bigger person and strong.
Yeah.
Probably stronger than her opponent right here.
Yeah, and it looks like Susie's having a tough time with her.
I mean, the girl she's fighting does have a really good ground game also. So, I mean, it looks like it's all favors going towards Mariah on this fight.
Yeah.
This girl's tough, so I wouldn't ever put her out as not being able to win the fight. I mean, she is tough. She will take punches. She will take elbows. And she'll give elbows too, She gives what she takes.
Yeah. That being said, though, if she takes too many, she's going to be out.
Oh, yeah. But it seems like that's the style her camp puts her through,
Yeah. Still don't understand that. I mean, you can make a person tough, but I mean, you still got to be,
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, this girl does not go backwards. I mean, it's all forward, 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 and no matter how hard she's getting hit. Granted, I'm not saying this girl that she's fighting can hit real hard, but I think Mariah can hit a lot harder.
Yeah. There's a couple of times when Susie's opponent, she gets her, and it looks like she didn't have enough strength to finish Susie. She could have finished Susie maybe, a couple of moves ago, but she just didn't have the power. So she kind of just keeps being resilient with Susie, keeps fighting, rolling her, putting in reverse. Right here, you'll see she could have gotten,
She could have minimum got the back.
Yeah. So, don't want to do that with Mariah.
Yeah, see, this girl, she likes to be in that dirty boxing, being in that clinch game. And she constantly drives forward. I mean, definitely wrestling's in her background.
Yeah. This is where she takes that leg out and she gets her to the ground.
Yep.
Right here. Yeah.
So this is pretty much what we're going to expect in the fight. Is this type of grueling fight? Just clinch, dirty box, pull to the ground, reversals, ground and pound. This is truly what we should expect in this fight. Both fighters are, like I said, very similar.
Look, she tried to go for the heel hook, but again, she just didn't have the strength to finish it, or even she should have just whipped her body over because she looked like she had it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
She must not hit that hard either, because I mean, some of those shots were like, on.
Right. I agree. Like I said, it doesn't look like neither one of these two have the power Mariah has.
Looks like a cat fight.
Yeah, I love the reversals I'm seeing. Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was actually a good fight.
Yeah.
It didn't look like either one can hold the other one down for very long. Yeah, that was actually watching the whole fight. It was actually a very good fight. Grueling. Yeah. Both of them were switching. They were both tagging each other with punches. I mean, it was pretty much nonstop.
Yeah, it was a good highlight. Good highlight reel.
So this time, this one here will be Mariah's. And like I said, I mean, these two are so similar in fighting that it's really going to be who's the stronger opponent, who's the bigger one, who hits the hardest. I'm going to go with Mariah on that. Those two.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was going to say too, Cheech. I'm not even going to ask you who you're going to pick here because I think Mariah is well above Susie's grade. I'm sorry, I think it ain't gonna go too long. I don't think.
But just like this girl here, I mean, she's giving Mariah problems. I mean, Mariah's not just able to hold her down and pound the crap out of her here. I mean, she's definitely struggling to stay on top, struggling to get strikes in.
But still has control.
Yeah, but she has phenomenal control when she's up there. Yeah. I mean, that wins a fight too if you're on top the whole time.
Yeah, you can squirm all you want, but if the person ain't going anywhere, I don't think you're doing too much. No, I love it when Mariah pushes her face down. She's definitely making her will known there. Right there, she starts pounding on her face.
But this whole time, I mean, the girl's giving her problems.
Yep.
So, and I have a feeling the Susie girl is going to be the same way, and she's not going to just lay there and lay flat. I mean, she's going to use her cardio to make it a fight. Because that's the worst thing. Some of these fights we've seen with the ladies, since there's not a whole lot of lady fighters, some of them, they're outmatched really bad.
Yeah.
So I think this one here, it's going to be a little closer than most of the fights.
I just don't see Susie keeping up with her though, Teach. I really don't. I don't know. See, this is the Amanda fight, and Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda's she's almost the same size as Mariah.
Redhead. It went with her. And she did exactly. She made it difficult for Mariah, but Mariah does keep her, in control. She keeps her on the mat, and she, just for that cut. I mean, if it wasn't for that cut, it was pretty much,
She was. I mean, what that really showed is Mariah was leaving herself open at times, and she took advantage of it. I mean, I think that cut came from a nice elbow that was thrown.
Yeah, she did. Looks like she slips it off and catches Mariah.
But in the end, Mariah was showing that she was much stronger, much more in control. I have a feeling that Susie's not going to be quite as wild about things. She's going to be more technical. Yeah. This girl here looked like she was just in a street fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
instead of slipping an underhook, she's got both arms on one side of the head. It's kind of weird looking.
She did her best to stay alive. I'll give Amanda, that she really did. She wasn't going away easily, and
no, she didn't go away. I mean, she was there all rounds.
Yeah.
Lost a close one.
I just don't think Susie's gonna keep up with Mariah. I really don't. I not to take anything away from her. I just don't see it, Teach. I mean, she does look tough like you said, but I don't think she's gonna be able to keep up with her.
I think it's gonna go all rounds, but I think Mariah's gonna pull it out in the end. Tell you the truth.
You think so?
Yeah, the girl's tough. She's gonna hang in there. Yeah, it's not gonna be one of those quick fights over and done.
All right, Mariah, you got to win me some beer here, some beer shots here. Gotta put her away first round because I hope it for the fans and everybody, but I just don't see Susie giving her 5 rounds. Just don't see it. But
I'm not even sure if it's a 5-round fight. I just know it's main event.
Yeah, main event.
So I don't think there's no belt on the line. So I'm pretty sure unless they're gonna use the main event as a 5-round fight, usually they're 3.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it's gonna go all rounds. Susie looks like she's a tough chick. She'll put up with a lot of punishment. But like you said, Mariah, she's a stronger fighter. She's the lankier fighter. I think she's gonna have the reach on her quite a bit.
She looks more, technically, but who knows? Maybe it's just the opponents that Susie has had too. That's why her style is that way. 'Cause if she's watching Mariah too, she better know, don't go in there just thinking you're gonna have an easy one either.
Yeah. But as you see, Mariah struggles with people that are pushing her. So I have a feeling Susie's going to come in, push the pace and push her around, stay in her face the whole time, stay close, don't, take away the reach advantage.
Oh, yeah. If Susie stays on the outside and stuff, she'd be dumb.
Yeah. She'll get tore up by Mariah if she does that.
Yeah.
So, but Susie's style shows that she's going to want to get in there and get close. So, yeah, it's going to be prepared for a against the cage fight. It's gonna be a lot against the cage.
Yeah, I agree.
So obviously you're taking Mariah.
Yeah. Like I said,
I'm taking Mariah, but I'm taking Mariah. It's gonna go all rounds.
It's gonna go all rounds. All right. Well, we hope to see you guys there. Again, it's DFC's Winter Brawl at the Shields Arena, December 5th. Remember. Gloves up.
And fight on.
Fight on.